If you are 62 years of age or older and you are currently receiving Social Security, pause everything you are doing right now because on Wednesday, June the 10th, payments are being distributed. I want to make absolutely certain you know precisely how much you will be receiving, exactly when it will appear in your account, and most critically, what you should do if the amount you see does not line up with what you were anticipating. Because here is the reality, not everyone is going to receive the same amount they received the previous month. Some individuals are going to receive less, some individuals are going to receive more. And if you have no idea why, you might panic, dial the wrong number, or even worse, do absolutely nothing and end up losing money that is legitimately owed to you. So stay right here with me because I am going to take you through absolutely everything. I am going to explain who is receiving payment on June the 10th, how much you should anticipate based on your age and your filing status, the precise reasons your payment might look different this month, and what actions to take the instant something appears to be off. And then toward the end of this video, I want to share something with you that I genuinely believe is going to help you ensure you are not leaving even one single dollar uncollected. My name is John, and this is your channel, John Retirees. If you are brand new here, welcome. Head into the comment section right now and let me know what state you are watching from. I absolutely love seeing where my viewers are tuning in from, and you just might find someone down in those comments who is from your exact same city. So go ahead and drop your location in the comments. And now, let us dive right into it. So first and foremost, who is actually receiving payment on June the 10th? June the 10th is the second Wednesday of the month, and Social Security operates on a very precise schedule determined by your date of birth. If your birthday falls anywhere between the 1st and the 10th of any given month, then Wednesday, June the 10th is your designated payment date. This applies to individuals receiving Social Security retirement benefits, as well as those receiving Social Security disability insurance, which is commonly referred to as SSDI. Now, if you are receiving supplemental security income, also known as SSI, your payment was already sent out on June the 1st. And if you happen to receive both SSI and Social Security simultaneously, your payment was sent on June the 3rd. So June the 10th is specifically reserved for retirement and SSDI recipients who were born within those first 10 days of the month. Now let us talk about the actual figures because this is what everyone genuinely wants to know. How much money is actually on its way? The maximum Social Security retirement benefit in 2026 for someone who claimed at full retirement age is approximately $4,018 per month. If you held off until age 70 to file your claim, the maximum rises considerably and can go as high as $5,108 or beyond depending on your personal earnings record. Now, the average benefit is notably lower than that maximum figure. The average retirement benefit at this point in time is roughly $1,900 per month. Most recipients fall somewhere in the middle, depending on how many years they worked, how much they earned throughout their career, and at what age they decided to file their claim. So when I mentioned that checks of over $5,000 are going out on June the 10th, that is absolutely accurate. But your personal amount depends entirely on your own individual record. And if you are unsure what your amount should actually be, I am going to explain exactly how you can verify that in just a few moments. Now, this is the part where I really need you to give me your full attention. What happens if your payment arrives and it is lower than what you received the month before? What if the figure on your statement or sitting in your bank account is not what you were anticipating? Before you jump to the conclusion that something went wrong, I want you to understand the reasons this can happen. Because the vast majority of the time, it is not random and it is not a mistake. There are very specific reasons your payment could look different. And I am going to walk you through every single one of them right now. The first reason, and by far the most frequently occurring one, is overpayment recovery. This is the situation where Social Security has concluded at some point that they paid you more than you were actually entitled to, and they are now in the process of recovering that money. When Social Security begins collecting on an overpayment, they have the authority to withhold up to 100% of your monthly benefit until the full debt has been satisfied, unless you have made a separate arrangement with them. If this is currently happening to you and you had no prior knowledge of it, or if you genuinely believe the overpayment determination is incorrect, you have rights available to you. You have a 60-day period to file an appeal against the decision or to submit a request for a waiver. A waiver essentially means you are asking Social Security to forgive the overpayment entirely, typically on the grounds that the overpayment was not your fault and that repaying it would create a genuine financial burden for you. Do not allow that 60-day window to pass without taking action. Call Social Security at 1-800-772-1213 and specifically ask about your available options to either appeal or submit a waiver request. The second reason your payment might be smaller is an increase in Medicare premiums. If you are currently enrolled in Medicare Part B, those monthly premiums are deducted directly from your Social Security payment. And here is something that a large number of people simply do not realize. Medicare premiums are calculated based on your income from 2 years prior. So if your income was higher back in 2024, that could now be showing up as a higher Medicare premium being pulled from your 2026 payment. This is referred to as IRMAA, which is short for Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. It is an additional surcharge applied on top of the standard Medicare premium. If your income crossed certain thresholds 2 years ago, you could be seeing an unexpected deduction that you were completely unprepared for, and that is precisely why your payment appears smaller. The third reason is the earnings test. This one applies specifically to individuals who have filed for Social Security but have not yet reached their full retirement age and are continuing to work. In 2026, if your earned income exceeds $22,320 for the year, Social Security will withhold $1 of benefits for every $2 you earn beyond that threshold. Now, the encouraging news here is that this money is not permanently gone. Once you arrive at your full retirement age, Social Security will recalculate your benefit and return that money to you in the form of a higher monthly payment going forward. But in the meantime, if you cross that earnings threshold, your current payment is going to reflect those withholdings. The fourth reason is voluntary tax withholding. A significant number of people are unaware that Social Security benefits can actually be subject to taxation, and that you have the option to request that federal taxes be withheld from your payment in advance, so you do not face a shocking surprise when tax season arrives. If you previously submitted a form requesting that Social Security withhold taxes and they are now actively processing that request, your payment is going to be reduced by whatever percentage you originally requested. This is not an error of any kind. This is something that you personally requested. But if you have no memory of doing that, you can absolutely contact Social Security and either adjust or completely cancel that withholding arrangement. The fifth reason is garnishment. Now, this topic has been coming up with increasing frequency lately, and I want to walk through it carefully so you have a clear picture. Your Social Security benefits are broadly protected from most private creditors under federal law. However, there are notable exceptions to this protection. If you owe a debt to the federal government, such as unpaid federal income taxes or defaulted federal student loans, your Social Security payment can be subject to garnishment. Additionally, and this point is absolutely critical, if you have your Social Security deposited into a joint bank account, that account could potentially be frozen or accessed by creditors who are pursuing the other account holder. Even if you personally owe nothing to anyone, if the individual with whom you share that bank account has a creditor who obtains a court order, your entire joint account, including your Social Security deposits sitting inside it, could be placed at risk. Federal law does offer protection for 2 months' worth of Social Security deposits in an account from garnishment, but establishing precisely which funds belong to you within a shared account is considerably more complicated than it sounds. The most straightforward protection available to you is to have your Social Security payment deposited into an account that exists solely in your own name. The sixth and final reason your payment might look different, and this is the only one that actually results in more money coming your way, is the Social Security Fairness Act. If you are a retired teacher, a firefighter, a law enforcement officer, a federal government employee, or the spouse or surviving spouse of one of these workers, you may have previously had your Social Security benefit reduced under provisions known as the Windfall Elimination Provision and the Government Pension Offset. These provisions were repealed, and the repeal has been generating retroactive payments and increased monthly benefits for those who are eligible. So if your payment went up and you fall into one of these professional categories, that is most likely the explanation. If you believe you should have received an increase under the Fairness Act, but your payment has not reflected any change, that is absolutely worth investigating further, because the Social Security Administration is still actively working through cases. Now let us talk about what you should actually do if your payment does not show up at all on June the 10th. First, check your bank account on that day. If you do not see it, check once more on June the 11th. When you are searching through your transaction history, type the letters TREAS into your bank's search bar. That abbreviation stands for Treasury, and it will surface all direct deposit transactions originating from the Treasury Department, which is the source from which your Social Security payment is issued. If there is no Treasury transaction recorded for June, your next step is to log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov. You can verify there whether a payment was actually issued. If a payment was issued on their end, but still has not appeared in your bank, there may simply be a banking delay at play. If no payment was issued at all, then you have a problem that requires escalation. You cannot contact Social Security to report a missing payment until a full 3 business days following your scheduled payment date have elapsed. For June the 10th, that means the earliest you should place that call is June the 16th. Now, I want to address something else that has been generating a significant number of headlines recently, because I know you have been seeing it, and I do not want you to spiral into worry without having the complete picture in front of you. There have been numerous news stories about Social Security running out of money by either 2033 or 2032, depending on which source you are reading. The projection states that if Congress takes no action between now and that point, the Social Security Trust Fund could become depleted and benefits could be reduced by approximately 23 to 24% across the board. That sounds absolutely frightening, but here is the actual reality. Even in that absolute worst case scenario where Congress does completely nothing, benefits do not drop to zero. They fall to roughly 76 or 77 cents on every dollar because payroll taxes are still being collected and are still actively funding the program. That is the bottom floor, not a complete elimination. And frankly speaking, every single time Social Security has faced a comparable situation throughout its history, Congress has intervened and taken action. They may not act early, and they may not act in a particularly clean or organized fashion, but they have consistently acted. So yes, this is absolutely something to remain aware of and stay informed about. But no, it is not a sufficient reason to make any abrupt decisions about when to file your claim or whether to rush into claiming early out of fear alone. There is another question that appears in my comments on a constant basis, and I want to address it head on right here. Can you collect Social Security if you have never held a job or accumulated work credits? The answer is yes. You absolutely can in certain circumstances. Social Security payments are not exclusively tied to your own personal work record. You may also be able to receive benefits based on a current spouse's record, a former spouse's record provided the marriage lasted a minimum of 10 years, a deceased spouse's record if you are collecting as a widow or widower, or a parent's record under specific family benefit guidelines that apply in certain situations. At this very moment, there are approximately 6 million people across the United States who are collecting survivor benefits, with many of those individuals doing so based entirely on the earnings history of a late spouse. So if you happen to be someone who devoted your years to raising a family or providing care to loved ones, and you did not build up sufficient work credits on your own, that does not automatically disqualify you from Social Security. It simply means you need to investigate what you may qualify for based on another person's earnings record. And spousal and survivor benefits are among the most widely misunderstood and most frequently unclaimed benefits that exist within the entire Social Security system. Here's your concrete action plan for this week. On Wednesday, June the 10th, check your bank account and confirm your payment has successfully arrived. Look specifically for the Treasury deposit in your transactions. If the amount appears different from what you received last month, revisit the 6 reasons I just outlined and work through which one applies to your particular situation. If you have genuine reason to believe something is wrong, do not sit on it and wait. Log into ssa.gov immediately. And if you are unable to resolve the issue through the website, mark June the 16th on your calendar as the earliest possible date you can place a call. And here is the broader perspective I want to leave you with as we wrap up. A large number of people receive their Social Security payment each month and simply take for granted that the amount is accurate. They never question it. They never look any deeper into it. But the truth of the matter is, there are real gaps in what Social Security has documented on record for many people. Earnings that were missed from the early years of your career. Spousal benefits that were never applied for in the first place. Survivor benefits being claimed in an incorrect sequence. Divorce benefits that former spouses are entitled to but never knew they could access. These are not trivial amounts we are discussing here. In certain situations, we are talking about thousands of dollars every single year that people are simply walking away from because they did not know the right questions to ask. So if you have a nagging feeling that something is not quite right, or if you simply want the peace of mind that comes from knowing with absolute certainty that you are receiving every dollar you have rightfully earned and deserve, that instinct is worth acting on. Do not dismiss it. Take the time to dig into it, because when everything is said and done, you put in the work for this. You contributed to this system across decades of your life. This money belongs to you, and I am here each and every week to help make sure you are actually receiving what is yours. If today's video was helpful to you, go ahead and hit the like button and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an important update. Drop your state down in the comments and let me know you were here today. I will see you in the next one.